Hello everyone, Chris here with another episode of my Black Ops 2 Weapon Guide video series. Today we're going to take a look at another one of the cool weapons in the game, the KSG shotgun. I'm sure quite a few of us are familiar with the KSG from Modern Warfare 3, and while it's the same weapon in Black Ops 2, it's configured differently in that it fires a single slug round as opposed to the usual buckshot rounds you usually associate with shotguns. Basically that means your precise accuracy is rewarded with increased range and increased damage. Whereas with a normal shotgun you've got that large spread of pellets, which means you can easily take out targets at close range, but you seriously sacrifice your long range capabilities. So let's get started with this guide and take a look at some of the KSG's general features. The damage figures for the KSG are pretty crazy at 200 to 75. Bear in mind that your character has 100 points of health, so as long as you land that hit, you've got no chance of getting a hit marker with this weapon at close range. You will start to need 2 shots to kill at long range unless you can accurately pop someone's head off in the distance, but that 1-shot kill range is more than enough in most situations. If you think about the usual drop-off rate for shotguns, that point where your shots no longer land a hit, with such as the R870, it's around that point where you're just managing those 1-shot kills with the KSG, and anything beyond is starting to drop off to a 2-shot kill. Needing those 2 shots to kill isn't too bad though, especially if you're tackling a sniper or a target that's standing still. Or if you've got some cover that you can keep dodging and weaving and ducking behind, you can quite easily take out an enemy who's giving you return fire just by popping up, taking a shot and then ducking back down. The KSG only fires that 1 slug round, so it's pinpoint accurate, and being a pump action shotgun means the recoil is pretty non-existent. By the time the weapon's cycled and ready to fire the next round, the kick from the first round will have settled and you'll be ready to fire the next precise shot. You might want to consider a red dot sight for this weapon to make sure you're 100% accurate, but the iron sights are pretty usable. It's got that nice front pin to line up your shots with. So let's move on and take a look at some more detailed stats of the KSG. This magazine weighs in with a nice 14 rounds. I found even the 8 rounds, which is the lowest out of all the shotguns from the 870, was more than enough, so the 14 rounds with the KSG is definitely plenty. If you did want to use the extended mag attachment, you get the nicest increase of ammo from 14 rounds up to 20. But as we'll talk about later in this guide, there's plenty more useful attachments to consider. The main drawback of the KSG is its rate of fire. It comes in at 76 rounds per minute. Being a pump action shotgun means the rate of fire is going to be slow anyway, but 76 rounds per minute is even slower than the R870, so that's just one extra reason to make sure that first precise shot counts. Reload time is also the slowest out of the category at 0.62 seconds per shell. This is even slower than the R870, plus you've got a total of 14 rounds to individually insert into the mag tube, so you're looking at going on an 8-second reload overall. But being a weapon that you can top up 1 shell at a time, it means you can quickly sit back out of the action for a second and just add 3 or 4 shells just to keep you in the action. And to cover some general stats for the shotguns, you get that fast aiming speed just like the SMGs at 0.25 seconds, plus you get that full movement speed of 100%. So while I found it more difficult to get good scores with the KSG as opposed to the 870, it's definitely just as much fun to use. The 870 has the upper hand in terms of fire rate and sheer close quarters firepower, so if you're looking for a weapon to go on a typical shotgun rampage, I'd still recommend the Remington 870, but if you're looking to have some fun in game, look no further than the KSG. With the absence of that pellet spread, you do have to kind of take on a different strategy with this weapon. You can't just go rushing into a group of bad guys and take them all out. You've got to be really precise with your aim and make sure that 1 slug round counts. This means you want to use the KSG as if it was an assault rifle and make your way tactically around the map using that cover to your advantage, and make sure you're accurately aiming down sights to get your targets perfectly lined up. The last thing you want to do with the KSG is fire from the hip. With the likes of the Remington and the other shotguns, you get that pellet spread, which is going to give you a high chance of securing a kill. But with the KSG only firing out that 1 round, it's going to be more on par with the sniper rifles, in that 1 round can go anywhere within those on-screen hip-fire crosshairs. One other tip for when using this weapon is that there seems to be a very short accuracy delay when aiming down sights. So rather than doing those little pop shots like what you'd do with the Remington, where you'd quickly fire and aim down sights at the same time, with the KSG you want to make sure you're aiming down sights at least a quarter of a second in advance to make sure you're getting that 100% accuracy, so that slug round goes exactly where your iron sights are pointing. So if you play to the strengths of this weapon, you can get some really nice one-shot kills right up to medium to long range, and it provides a great opportunity to try out a different playstyle. Obviously in Call of Duty we're just used to our shotgun pellets just disappearing at a certain range, so there's just something really fun about getting those nice long range one-shot kills. But let's move on and take a look at my recommendations of an attachment configuration to get the most out of your KSG. The best feature of the KSG is that ability to get those nice long range one-shot kills, so it makes sense to increase that range as much as possible with the help of the long barrel. Second up, because it's crucial to aim down sights with this weapon in order to achieve that full accuracy, you'll want to go with the quick draw handle to make actually aiming down sights as fast as possible. Your shots aren't going to be accurate until you're fully locked on target, so you don't want to waste time waiting for that quarter of a second aiming animation to play through. I personally prefer just to go with these two attachments and put the rest of my points towards perks, but another attachment that's a really good choice is the adjustable stock. Because it's important to aim down sights at least a quarter of a second before you actually fire the weapon in order to achieve that full accuracy, the adjustable stock just helps you aim down sights in advance, then move round a corner already primed and ready to open fire. The only downside to this is that you get that faster movement speed, and I actually prefer the slower sensitivity when aiming down sights, so that I can more accurately line up those shots. I definitely think these three attachments are the go-to choices, but there are a couple of other good attachments that you can consider. First up, we've got the suppressor, which you wouldn't usually consider at all for a shotgun, but with the KSG having that nice 200 damage up close, and that considerable range, it's going to mean you can continue getting those one-shot kills, up to ranges where you'd be getting those normal one-shot kills with an unsuppressed shotgun. Attaching the suppressor is going to mean that you're not going to be able to get those nice long-range one-shot kills, but combined with the ghost perk, it's going to give you maximum stealth abilities, so you can sneak around the back of the bad guys and have plenty of time to line up those shots and take people out without even being noticed. I'd also recommend just using the suppressor because of the cool pew pew sound this weapon makes when silenced. And finally, one other attachment that could be lots of fun is that millimeter scanner. Having 200 points of damage to spare means it's going to retain that damage through cover, so only needing 100 points of damage to secure a kill means you've got a high likelihood of being able to wallbang someone. So that millimeter scanner is going to give you the heads up on the whereabouts of enemies inside buildings or behind walls. So that's about it for my guide to the KSG in Black Ops 2. As always, if you're a fan of this weapon or if you just enjoyed my guide or learned anything new, I'd love a thumbs up down below just to help spread the word and share the video with your friends. If you've just stumbled across my video through a YouTube search, don't forget you can subscribe to stick around for the rest of these Black Ops 2 weapon guides. I've already posted a recommended class setup for the Remington 870, so I'll have to cover the KSG as a kind of big game hunter class setup sometime in the future. So go and have some fun with the KSG in game. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.